Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. This is Tony Butler with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I'm one of the life sales directors here, and I want to thank you for joining today's webinar. We have Alan Miller with Lincoln Financial Group. We are on part 2 of the MoneyGuard webinar series. Part 1 was a few weeks ago. Part 2, we're going to get more into the weeds of things. But before we get started on this, we have got a few housekeeping items I want to kind of go through here real quick. Okay, here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, we understand that referrals are a big part of your business, as well as referrals are a big part of our business. So anytime that you do refer an agent to us, and that agent gets contracted with one of the carriers that we work with, we do provide you with a $50 referral bonus. Any subsequent business that they submit with those carriers, we do provide you with 20 basis points on that business. That doesn't take away commissions from them. That's just our way of saying thank you for referring the business to AIIMS. If you have any questions regarding our AIIMS Business Builders, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Be more than happy to go through those details with you. Next, New Producers Builders. If you're familiar with the New Producers Builder, you'll see that this has changed quite a bit. So we've got 100,000, 250,000, 500,000, 750,000, and 1 million levels now. So if you're looking to just reach the 100,000, you got a 1,500 piece mailing that you can get. There's $750 cash you can get. iPad is available for you. 250,000 level is 3,000 piece mailing, 2,000 marketing reimbursement dollars, or 1,500 Visa gift card. We also have the $500,000 level, and this is paid premium, where you get a 5,000 piece mailing and postcard mailing Matt Gill training session. He's one of our top producers. Or you get a 4,000 piece postcard mailing and seminar coaching with Dave Pimper, who's also one of our top producers. We also have a Ritz-Carlton package for you. The 750,000 level, there's Retirement Boss Radio that you can get involved with. You can do 2 Social Security seminars, guaranteed 50 buying units with that. You can get 4,500 lead credit, digital annuity leads, or 1 video social media campaign. And then we've got our 1 million, and that's going to let you get either brand builder, dinner workshop, preset annuity appointments, 3 videos or 3 consumer facing brochures or articles. So if you have any questions regarding our New Producers Builders, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'd be more than happy to get you some additional information on this. Next, we also have back office support here for you. We like to say that we want you to work smarter, not harder. So we provide paperless contracting for you, top sales expertise coaching, business building tools. We try and work with you from submissions to commissions and provide you with that support. So we're about saving you time and energy in getting that business submitted and paid out to you. We also have a creative marketing solutions team, and they can help you whether it's turnkey solutions, agency solutions, or digital solutions. And what that means is our creative marketing solutions team can help you whether it's for professionally written handouts, flyers, newsletters, or postcards. If you're looking for a logo design or you want to redesign your logo, they can help you with that, business cards and brochures. If you want to get into the digital marketing space, they do provide assistance as far as personal website digital marketing strategies, email marketing consulting, and social media consulting. So if you have any questions regarding this, please don't hesitate to reach out to our Creative Marketing Solutions team. Jacob or one of the guys on the creative team will be able to help you out with that. Next, our website. It is a 24/7 website. Our website does have excellent sales tools. If you're a life agent, you can run term quotes from the website as well as universal life quotes. We do have annuity grids available for you, long-term care product grids for single premium life agents. We do have a single premium life grid for all the carriers that we work with on the single premium life arena, and it provides you with detailed information on those products. If you have questions regarding our website or how to navigate through our website, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'd be more than happy to walk you through how to navigate through the website. That website is www.aiimsinc.com. We also have Retirement Analyzer available for you. Now, what that Retirement Analyzer does is it helps you answer questions from your clients such as, can I continue my present standard of living into my retirement years? When can I retire without running out of money? How would it affect my family if I were to die prematurely? Now, the Retirement Analyzer is available at a 30-day free trial. After that, there is a cost. Now, if you are an annuity producer and you're producing at least $250,000 of annuity production or $250,000 of single premium life production, that Retirement Analyzer is available for you free. So if you have questions regarding the Retirement Analyzer, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We also have AIIMS Wealth Management Team. Now, the AIIMS Wealth Management Team, they're there to help you work with your higher net worth clients. We're talking about those clients that have more investment assets. What the AIIMS Wealth Management Team can do is it can help you increase your revenue, improve client retention, and strengthen client relationships. So if you have any questions regarding AIIMS Wealth Management, please give Charles a junior call. He or someone on his team will be able to help you out with that. Now, if you're familiar with AIIMS, you know that we do a Life and Annuity Academy. We try and do this once a quarter. I believe our next one's coming up here in March. Don't have a location on that yet, but when we do, be sure to get that information out to you. Now, the Life and Annuity Academy is a 2-day training that we do pay for. We talk about different sales ideas and strategies. We do have our top producers that will speak to you. A lot of times we will co-present with one of our carriers, one of our top carriers, and we go over different marketing strategies, business insurance concepts, large life case marketing, things of that nature. So if you're interested in Life and Annuity Academy, I believe we do have a polling question here for you on that. I'm going to launch that here. And if you can just answer that, I'll make sure to get some information out to you guys. We still have quite a few people responding, so I'll keep this up for a few more seconds. Okay, go ahead and close that out. Next, we've got a few trips on the horizon. The first is the AIIMS Athene 2020 Marketing Summit. Now, that is going to be August 26th through the 29th, 2020. The invitational period is from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th of 2020. That's going to be on the shores of Santa Maria. If you need details in regards to this trip, please give us a call. We also have a couple other trips. We've got Paradise on the Pacific. That one is going to be March 7th through the 11th of 2021. Qualification period for this trip is July 1st of 2019 through December 31st of 2020. Qualification requirements for this trip is 3.5 million points. And then we have the shores of Serenity. That's the AIIMS Elite Summit for 2021. And that one is March 11th through the 14th, 2021. Qualification periods are the same time frame, which is July 1st, 2019 through December 31st of 2020. Now, the minimum qualifications for this is 6.5 million points. Instant qualification is 8.5 million points. That gets you both trips. So again, if you have questions or you need additional details on this, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Now with that, Alan, you there?
Tony, I am here.
Okay, I am going to switch this over to you so we can get started there. Give me just a second here.
Fantastic.
And there you go.
I'm going to click on that. Are you seeing me okay?
Yes.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday and a happy New Year. I am a regional marketing director for the Lincoln MoneyGuard solution. I reside in Denver, Colorado, and I have my internal Adam Bridgeforth out in Philadelphia. This is our second call with AIIMS. We appreciate the partnership, Tony, and what we want to do today is go a little more granular on the education opportunities that Lincoln can provide you as you're talking to your families, your households on long-term care planning, and then get a little more specific on best practices, a little bit of a presentation skills. Would like to start also with just a quick summary of how successful Lincoln MoneyGuard long-term care planning solution has been in the marketplace for the last 32 years, as well as for 2019. We're coming off of 2019 as our best year in offering hybrid long-term care solutions. And we are excited on where we are positioned in the future for offering our new Lincoln MoneyGuard 3. Lincoln MoneyGuard 3 is a PBR CSO compliant product. Again, as I mentioned, we come off of a strong showing of over $2 billion in long-term care sales, a 54% market share. So we feel very good about the business we've done and the business that we're, I think, well positioned to do in the future here. So today, I want to pivot off of the concept or what we talked about. Let me close this down here. And that is, just one second here. Tony, are you seeing the entire screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay. One sec here. For some reason, I'm getting I might be picking up your screen. I'll be hearing it. It's not letting me, oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. To pivot off of the last conversation we had in December, we really focused in on what ultimately the product is, and that is the conversation, to start the conversation, to get the family involved. Morningstar just recently put out a lot of statistics about long-term care planning, and there's, as you probably are aware, a lot that are out there. Interesting numbers I was able to pull from some of the information I was reading, that only 11% of adults over the age of 65 or older have long-term care insurance coverage. Only 11%. In 2017, there were over $11 billion in claims paid on long-term care policies. That is money that did not come out of someone's savings, came out of your book of business, that was paid by insurance companies and protected families. And I think more importantly, going back to our conversation in December, it's helping families deal with the event of long-term care. And that's where we started our conversation, is that long-term care is just not necessarily the financing, the cost of it. It's what's the consequences to the family. So as you walk away from this seminar, this webinar today, start thinking about how do you shift from the focus of being on the financial consequences of the afflicted and perhaps the spouse, into more of the consequences on the family. And I think what you'll have is more success, gaining better conversations and buy-in from individuals wanting to know more about this, and separating you as someone who's solving a real retirement problem for your clients and prospects. 83% of the care that's provided to older adults is delivered by family and friends. And so this is really a family event. So the two steps we want to talk about here today in better long-term care planning starts with marketing and educating. More importantly, educating. And I put these two pieces up. Lincoln, with its 32 years in the business, has a tremendous amount of information and resources, white papers that you can go to gain better sources of education for the families that you are talking to. You know, what does care cost? Case studies. You saw, as I previously, this slide, this is a retail seminar that we are having success doing in a virtual format, meaning we can host this, people dial in just like we're doing here. Perhaps you get a family together and we walk through more of the fundamentals, the ABCs of what long-term care is about, including, you know, what of the two of the 6 ADLs that might be covered, and get a little bit more educational from that standpoint. We're not doing that on this webinar, but I wanted to highlight, you know, the first step is that education, is what can we do? Tony talked about digital marketing. I will show you a link that you can go to that is what we call a launch pad, that shows you all the information that can help you bring pieces out to the families that you are talking to about what long-term care planning means and the consequences, and getting firsthand, perhaps case studies on what more they can do. What we talked about in December was one of the more effective ways of educating people on what they are doing, and that is they are self-funding, either by inaction or by the fact that they think, well, I have enough, it won't happen to me, my family will take care of me. Isn't that what Medicaid and Medicare are for? We talked about that in December, where you start with, first and foremost, what is your plan? When you have a long-term care event, 52% of households who reach the age of 65, 1 in 2, 52% of them will have a long-term care event. And that number is rising as we see the demographics go there. But what we brought out in December, and I'm reinforcing here again today, is the ultimate education piece of the asset identifier. You want to self-fund. let's identify those assets that you're going to use to self-fund. This is not self-insuring. Insuring is the concept, as we all know, of leverage, law of large numbers. You're an individual household. You are self-funding your long-term care event in your household if mom or dad happen to have the event of long-term care. And we'll go into a little bit more on what long-term care costs. And maybe you've seen it, maybe you've experienced it yourself, but the asset identifier, whether this is on a yellow notepad, a PDF form that we can provide, what it's doing is allowing them to understand and educate them what their plan is to fund their long-term care. It's self-funding. Okay, you're going to do that. Let's identify the assets that should be earmarked to do that self-funding. Here is an example that I'm using today that focuses on home care. Because if you have any conversations or had conversations, you know when people think of long-term care, their mind goes to a nursing home. And I don't want that. Keep me away from that. And the reality is when you look at nursing home and the cost of nursing home, it becomes a little inundating as to what might be done to pay for nursing home. Statistically, nursing home may last a year for a male, 2 years for a female, and it's the last event of long-term care, but the beginning event is at-home care or assisted living. Those costs run about the same. So the best practice here is to think of it almost in a 50-10 manner, that if long-term care happens to be in a nursing home, which is the end of the event typically, here's the cost at age 80. What we really want to plan for is how do we take care of you in your home as long as you can, maybe get you back on your feet, but have it be paid with insurance dollars, the concept of leverage. And so today at age 55, Alan's annual home care costs are at $57,000. You can use our cost of care website, or you can go to www.longtermcare.gov, and you can obtain that at age 80, your long-term care costs for in-home care, the way you want it, to be $119,414, or let's make it real, almost $10,000 a month is what home health care. And again, come back to the family and think about when you have home care, you have someone coming in, but they're not there all the time. You want to pay for somebody to come in. You want your family not to take on a second job of administering any of this. You just simply want to supervise. And that's what MoneyGuard has done so successfully, is build a platform that allows the family, the primary caregiver, to be coordinated in how they're doing it and to make this an easy event, a less stressful event. But going back to the asset identifier, to start with is to say, here's the CD, here's the American Funds ICA fund, here is income coming from an annuity. Now it has to come out in a certain withdrawal pattern, but those monies would be used. How about we save all of those account values and use the Lincoln MoneyGuard, where it has a 0-day elimination. If you have home care, you have a hip surgery, it does not go well, doesn't mean that you're on the road to long-term care of 4 or 5 years. It may just be that you are out for 6-9 months. This policy would be able to utilize that to help with transferring, bathing, any of the 6 activities of daily living. But going back to the asset identifier, you now are focused in on how are you funding it, and then asking, is there a better way? If you're going to have long-term care costs at age 80, 83, 90, at age 80, we're specifically showing through the government website, that's almost $10,000 a month. How long should we plan for? Well, you mentioned nursing home. The worst of the worst case is 1 year for a male, 2 for a female. Let's just plan for 50% of that number, because that's more real. And what we want to do is now say, what percentage of success or claims do we want to cover? I'm showing off of this American Association long-term source book that 90% of the time, someone who starts their claim between the ages of 75 and 84 will be done with their claim before they enter the 6th year. So in other words, 10% of the time, a claim goes beyond 5 years. At Lincoln, the average age of claim for us is age 83. Again, 32 years in the business. We know what claims and persistency of claims look like. I'm showing this chart with the idea you could use this chart to say, well, we know what the costs are at age 80 if you have long-term care. Now it's how comfortable do we want to be in how long we want to pay for. And what we can look at doing is saying, let's go with the highest probability that we're comfortable with. And that would be, let's do a 5-year benefit at $10,000 a month. And with the 5% compounded inflation, if it's later in retirement, we still have the ability to pay for those benefits and in an inflation adjusted basis on what long-term care costs might be. But there's a little science to go with the art of getting long-term care planning in place. So this is all a part of the education, the first step of what you need to start doing to make a difference in your clients' lives. Tony mentioned the Retirement Analyzer, a great way of looking at those probabilities as well and what success factors may be. This could be something that is helping identify what might we need. If we don't want to use those assets, then let's use long-term care. How much should we buy and for how long? This helps give a little bit more structure to it. But the important thing too is to recognize how you are offloading this risk from your portfolio to an insurance company like Lincoln, where basically, as you see here, we're just shifting funds from the left pocket into a MoneyGuard policy. And unlike traditional long-term care insurance, our hybrid, savings-based, linked benefit insurance, long-term care insurance, is different in that you own it. We shift funds, whether that be on a 15 pay, 10 pay, a single pay. We create 3 buckets. We create the first bucket, which looks like traditional insurance, and that is we get this nice big long-term care bucket, or bucket of long-term care benefits, and I'm going to show an illustration here in a moment. If you want to walk, or if you don't use it and you die, then you have this death benefit bucket. Tax-free money paid to the surviving spouse, tax-free money paid to the kids or whoever the beneficiary may be. And then the third bucket is the return of premium. One of the things that's happened in the return of premium area, particularly like for MoneyGuard, is we've started to lower the percent of return of premium. We still offer 100% return of premium, but we've adjusted to where if you want to build that first bucket, that long-term care bucket up to be the bigger amount, then you would reduce that from 100% down to 70%. And, anytime we want to have a one-on-one, either myself or Adam, to walk through the financial solution, the MoneyGuard product more specifically, and look at even some of the different riders that are baked in, such as a terminal illness rider, we can do that. We're not using it on this call today, and maybe we use that as the third part of the call. But this is more about first step is education. Here is a way to have the conversation, include the family, get the family involved, and just recognize the advantages of hybrid long-term care in that it's not experiencing what the traditional long-term care market is experiencing, and that is premium increases and people now having to be faced with the decision, should I keep it or, pay for the premium increases or let it go? Because the last thing you want to do is let it go after you have it, particularly if you're older in your 80s when the probability of occurrence is greater. is now you're able to show them that this is a new way of looking at long-term care. We're building a low death benefit in the policy. Nice to have it. If you don't use it, you get all your premiums back. But if you do need it, the bucket's been built up to as big as it can get because of that, chassis of using a universal life policy to basically create a long-term care rider that comes out as tax-free money. So you get a way of educating people to a new way of looking at it, but more importantly, is there a better way? And I think that's where that asset identifier has proven to be a very effective tool to get the conversation started and move it along. Now, the second step, your clients, your prospects agree, the family are all on board, yes, let's do it. Very helpful for your processes to deliver a long-term care policy is now to say, well, let's check on your health. We are simplified underwriting, meaning we're going to pull an MIB and a prescription report, but then we basically do a phone interview and make an underwriting decision. But we can get out to you this PDF that allows you to have a few questions and do a little pre-submission underwriting for a family, a client that does want to look at MoneyGuard, a long-term care solution, so that you know they're qualified. Again, Adam and I are available. We can get a pre-qual from consideration from our underwriting if there's some medicines that you see that maybe you think might be questionable. But this is always a first nice step. So the expectations are in place and your time is used in the right manner. So now that you have a client that you believe is ideal and they're saying this is a better way than self-funding, what we can do now is run the illustration, whether that's through Tony and AIIMS or it's through my internal and our team. We'll coordinate with Tony always. But when you get the illustration, it's very straightforward. I always like to say you have to reinforce again the benefits, and we can reverse engineer it based on what is it that you need at age 80. Well, for Alan, we need almost $10,000 a month for home health care. In a moment, you're going to see that shows what the premium would be. Or here's what our premium is. This is what my clients can afford. And we'll show what benefits we can provide, ideally looking again at age 80 to say in your 80s is where you have the highest probability. If you have it, here's what the benefit would be. So we start with that benefits page and reinforce what care costs. Then you come to this page, page 4, and you stay on the benefit side and say, okay, well, let's look specifically at that so that you understand at age 80, if you were to have a claim, 83, if you had a claim, here is the LTC ATM approach to receiving long-term care. It's a monthly benefit, no elimination, $85.96 out of a pool of $570,000, which basically is going to last 5 years, right? So that was the benefit we structured. And now we're reinforced to the number of years we have of a monthly payout for delivering home care or nursing home, whatever it may be that your client is into on a long-term care event. But now that you don't inundate them with numbers, but reinforce the benefits, the question becomes, what might be the cost? In this case here, in order to provide Alan that monthly benefit at age 80, again, a 5% compounding for 5 years for the long-term, for the MoneyGuard policy, would cost under a 10 pay of $7,533. That is basically $627 a month. We can do other payment options. It could be a pay up to age 70, and I'll show you that here in a moment. All policies have at least a 10 pay or a max of pay up at age 70. So for example, I could buy this at 68, I have a 10 pay. I buy it at age 50, I have a 20 pay, right? Again, something that we can work individually and walk through a little bit more of the product. The purpose of this webinar here today is to move you along the lines of looking at hybrid linked benefit type long-term care and understanding the best practices that can help bring the education to your households, to your clients, to better inform them so that they realize that this leverage, this type of event is something that needs to be put into their portfolio to save all of the great retirement planning that is in place. This is the chart that I was showing that is part of the illustration that we would send out that shows here's what we initially chose. Maybe your cash flow allows you to have it paid up in 5 years. Maybe you have some extra money. It's a 1035 from an old life insurance policy where we can just do a single pay of 57,667 and have it funded and done. Or as I mentioned, because it's a 55-year-old pay up at age 70, it's 15 years that they would be able to stretch those premiums out. Obviously, there's a little more premium that comes into flex pay, a pay-as-you-go versus paying it up sooner. But the bottom line is you're able to have flexibility in what premiums fit your client. But the most important point and the objective on the webinar today is to look at how better to position linked benefits, hybrid type long-term care policies. And what it starts with is starting to have that conversation first and foremost with your clients and their families and getting to realize what the risks are and how you can offload those risks to an insurance company like Lincoln. And we can help, once they've done that, better define not the policy, but the whole concierge care coordination, how we can turn this from a way of paying for long-term care to a plan for the family. And that's through our concierge care coordination, which allows us to help you create a primary caregiver structure, a care circle, get more education, more information. And when a claim happens, here's where you would go to the care concierge services of Lincoln and alleviate the stress and the activities of what turns into a second job for most families. And we can better educate on that as well as you move forward in saying, this is something I want to do more in, and I want to be involved or have Lincoln involved in my business. As I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we have a launch pad that has all of these resources, these white papers, something for you to start looking at, pull a piece off, send it over. We also can help you with digital marketing if this is what you want. Conduct those virtual seminars for families that are across many different locations. So we're here to help. We, Tony, appreciate the partnership we have with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I've listed Adam's email and phone number on our thank you page here as a way of again, helping out, being more of a resource to each and every one of you on the call, but certainly to AIIMS. So, Tony, again, I appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I think there's some questions. We have time to address those.
Okay, I actually got one here. Max issue age and multi-pay options.
Multi-pay, I'll start with multi-pay options. We can do pay up to age 70 or 10 pay, as I mentioned. That's one option. You can do single pay. That's the second option. You can do a 1035 of life insurance into the account value and do a single pay or a flex pay. So we're pretty flexible on that. The important point is to know it is paid up at age 70. Again, if you're 40, you can get a 30 pay. If you're 68, you can get a 10 pay, because it's either the greater of or the lesser of 10 pay or age 70. Max issue age, 78.
Okay. Just checking to see if there's any other questions. I'm going to switch this back over to me here real quick.
And Tony, as I mentioned, if anyone wants to do a deeper product dive, or you get notes that say, hey, I'd like to open up, lift the hood up, maybe we could do another webinar where we get more product specific and walk through more of those details, maybe even a little more underwriting. Or Adam and I are available to certainly answer any questions or walk through individually a little more of a product deep dive. Obviously, that's an important part of understanding the hybrid solution, particularly the MoneyGuard, and that is something we certainly would enjoy doing as well.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. So with that, do you have another? If you'd like to get additional information on Lincoln MoneyGuard, I've got a polling question that I'm launching here. If you can respond to that, I'll make sure to get some additional information out to you. Looks like there's quite a few people that are wanting more information. So I'll leave this up for a little bit. Okay. Close that polling question down. And then lastly, if you would like to get contracted with Lincoln Financial, here's a polling question for that. If you can answer that. For those of you that are saying yes, I'll make sure to get that appointment request submitted. Okay, I'll leave it up for a few more seconds. Looks like we still have people replying. Okay. Go ahead and close that out. Okay, and it doesn't look like we have any additional questions here. So Alan, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Tony, and good day, everyone.
Appreciate it. And everybody that attended, I want to thank you for attending today's webinar. For those of you that wanted additional information, I'll get that information sent out to you. If you have questions or you think about a question later, feel free to give me a call. Otherwise, everybody have a great week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Tony.